All right, so we're diving into this AI showdown everyone's talking about. You know the one where China kind of flipped the script?
Yeah.
We've all been watching this US-China tech race happening, right? And I think a lot of us just assumed
Yeah.
the US was miles ahead, right? Like they've got all the big names, the money, everything.
They definitely seem that way.
Yeah. But then, out of nowhere, this Chinese startup, Deepseek, comes in and just drops this bomb. They built this AI system, Deepseek V3, that's going head-to-head with the giants like OpenAI, Google, but they did it without spending a fortune.
Yeah, it's a real underdog story, but with incredibly high stakes.
For sure.
And what's really got everyone's attention is how efficient they were.
Okay, so break it down for me. What exactly did they do that has the tech world so freaked out?
Well, their reasoning model, R1, it's performing just as well as OpenAI's ChatGPT, passing the same text and sometimes even beating it.
Really?
Yeah. And get this, they did it for a fraction of the cost. We're talking millions versus billions here.
Wait, hold on. So you're telling me they built an AI that's as good as the ones costing hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars, and they did it for a price that wouldn't even get you a decent apartment in San Francisco?
Yeah. It sounds crazy, but it's true. They did it with a budget of just $5.6 million and about 2,000 NVIDIA chips.
Wow.
To put that into perspective, the big U.S. companies are throwing around billions, not just in funding, but in the sheer scale of their computing power.
That's insane. It's like showing up to a gunfight with a knife and winning. How is that even possible?
Well, it's a few things, really. One, Deepseek got creative with their hardware. See, the U.S. government put these restrictions on exporting advanced chips, like those super powerful NVIDIA H100 GPUs, to try and slow down China's AI development.
So they basically tried to cut them off.
Exactly. But instead of stopping Deepseek, it actually forced them to innovate.
Okay.
They found a workaround, using less powerful but more readily available NVIDIA H800s.
So they basically turned a roadblock into a detour.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. They knew they couldn't compete on raw computing power, so they focused on making the most of what they had.
I see.
And they got some pretty incredible results by using techniques like mixture of experts models.
Okay, break that down for me. What's a mixture of experts model, and how did it help Deepseek?
So imagine you have a really complex problem to solve.
Okay.
Instead of building one giant AI to handle everything, you create a team of specialized experts, each one trained on a specific part of the problem.
So it's like having a bunch of specialists instead of one general doctor.
Exactly. And each expert only kicks in when their specific skill set is needed.
Makes sense.
So the whole system is much more efficient. You're not wasting power on tasks that aren't relevant.
Ah, so it's like having the right tool for the job, but in AI form.
Precisely. Deepseek also used a technique called floating point 8-bit training, which basically means they trained their model using less precise calculations.
Okay, I'm not a techie, but isn't precision kind of important in AI?
Yeah.
Doesn't that affect how accurate the model is?
It can, but Deepseek found a way to balance it. They figured out they could use slightly less precise calculations to dramatically reduce the computing power needed without losing too much accuracy.
So they made their AI leaner and meaner, but kept it performing well. It's like they squeezed a sports car engine into a compact car. Impressive.
It is.
But let's shift gears for a second and talk about the company itself. We know a lot about OpenAI, Google, but who is Deepseek?
That's where things get really interesting. Unlike those big US AI companies with their fancy mission statements and PR, Deepseek is a bit of a mystery.
Ooh, little cloak and dagger in the world of AI. I like it. What do we know about them?
Well, we know they were founded by Liang Wenfeng, a billionaire who also runs this hedge fund called High Flyer Quant.
Oh.
And that's where it gets even more interesting.
All right, I'm hooked. Tell me more.
While he was running his hedge fund, Liang was quietly buying up all those NVIDIA chips.
So he was playing 4D chess while everyone else was playing checkers. That's wild. What about their mission? What are they trying to do with Deepseek?
Their stated mission is actually pretty vague. Unravel the mystery of AGI with curiosity. Answer the essential question with long-termism.
AGI? That's artificial general intelligence, right? The kind of AI that could basically do anything a human can.
Exactly. That kind of ambition really sets them apart. Most AI companies are focused on specialized AI systems.
Right.
Ones that excel at specific tasks like playing chess or translating languages.
But Deepseek is aiming for the ultimate prize, an AI that could potentially outthink us all.
That seems to be their goal. And that's why their focus on efficiency is so interesting. They seem to understand that just building bigger and bigger AI models isn't the only way to get to AGI.
So they're not just trying to win the AI race, they're trying to change the rules of the game.
Yeah.
But here's what I don't get. If they're trying to unravel the mystery of AGI, wouldn't they want to keep all their discoveries secret? Like, wouldn't that give them a huge advantage?
You'd think so, right?
Right.
But this is where Deepseek throws a curveball. They've actually embraced open source. So they shared the underlying code of their AI system with the world.
Wait, seriously? They just gave it away? That seems counterintuitive, especially if they're trying to achieve something as groundbreaking as AGI.
It does, and it's totally different from what some U.S. companies are doing. They're much more secretive about their models.
So what's the reasoning behind this open source move? Are they just super altruistic, or is there something else going on?
It's a fascinating question, and one that's causing a lot of debate in the AI community. Some people think Deepseek is trying to build a global community of developers to speed up the development of AGI,
Okay.
believing that working together will get faster results.
So they're betting on the power of the collective. It's a bold move, for sure, and it raises a whole bunch of questions about the future of AI, who controls it, and who benefits from it.
Absolutely. And that's what makes Deepseek's story so compelling. It's not just about the technology itself. It's about the bigger implications for global power, the future of innovation, and even the very nature of intelligence itself.
Okay, I'm officially hooked. We've got this mysterious company with a tiny budget doing incredible things in AI.
Yeah.
And they're not afraid to share their secrets with the world. What's their secret sauce? How did they manage to do it?
Well, it's not really a secret sauce. It's more like they're masters of efficiency and ingenuity.
Okay.
They haven't really reinvented the wheel, but they've taken these existing technologies and put them together in a really smart way.
So they're like the ultimate remix artists of the AI world.
That's a great way to put it. They've cleverly used existing data sets, even incorporating things like publicly available outputs from ChatGPT to train their models. It's like they've taken the best parts from different recipes and made something completely new.
So they're not just competing with the big players, they're learning from them. That's pretty bold.
It is. And it brings up some interesting questions. Like Deepseek, using that publicly available data from ChatGPT, it highlights a bit of a gray area.
Yeah.
It's not illegal to use data that's out there.
Right.
But there's a debate about whether it's ethical to use the outputs from a competitor's AI to train your own.
Yeah. That's a tough one. It's like that saying, good artists borrow, great artists steal. But where's the line in AI?
That's what legal experts and ethicists are trying to figure out right now.
I bet.
And it's going to be even more important as AI development gets more competitive.
Sure. Okay, so they're resourceful, they're a little daring, but there's got to be more to it, right?
Oh, absolutely. Deepseek's background in high-frequency trading has given them a real edge.
Well, what does stock trading have to do with AI?
Well, in high-frequency trading, speed is key.
Okay.
You have to analyze huge amounts of data and make decisions in a split second to take advantage of market changes.
So it's all about maximizing efficiency.
Exactly. And that expertise has carried over perfectly to the world of AI development. Deepseek has become a master at squeezing every bit of performance out of their hardware.
So it's like they were training for the AI race without even realizing it, but their model is still massive, right? Won't that limit what they can do with it?
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
Deepseek has also been working on model compression.
Okay.
They've developed these distilled models that get results comparable to much larger models. But they're a fraction of the size and cost.
So smaller, cheaper, but just as powerful. That's a game changer. But hold on, back to the whole open source thing.
Yeah.
Isn't there a risk that someone could use this tech for bad stuff? Like, what's to stop someone from taking this code and creating something dangerous?
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
With open source, you lose some of that control.
Yeah.
It's like giving everyone the blueprints to a powerful tool and just hoping they'll use it responsibly.
Yeah, it feels like we're getting into some pretty deep ethical waters here.
We are.
On one hand, you've got the potential for amazing progress and innovation that comes with open collaboration.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you've got the very real risks of it being misused.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a classic dilemma, and there's no easy answer. It's like they say, with great power comes great responsibility. But who gets to decide how that power is used?
Right.
And who's to blame if something goes wrong?
That's a big question. It feels like we're talking about something much bigger than just a new technology.
Yeah.
We're talking about a potential shift in power, not just in tech, but in the world.
You're absolutely right. And this is where the conversation about open source AI gets really interesting.
Well, yeah.
It's not just about the tech itself. It's about who gets to control it, who benefits from it, and who ultimately shapes where it goes.
So we've got Deepseek, this underdog company with a totally different approach to AI,
right,
shaking up the industry and raising all these questions about the future of this technology.
Yeah.
What are the long-term implications of their success? Is this a win for open source AI, or is it opening Pandora's box?
Those are questions we need to be asking ourselves now while the technology is still developing.
I agree.
Because the choices we made today will have consequences for years to come.
We've talked a lot about the potential dangers of open source AI, but let's look at it from the other side. What about the closed source approach that some of those big US AI companies like?
Right.
Are there any downsides to keeping all that knowledge and power in the hands of a few?
That's a great point. There's a growing worry that keeping AI development closed off could actually stifle innovation and create a digital divide where only a select few have access to the most advanced AI tools.
So it's like a monopoly on intelligence. That doesn't sound good for the future.
It's a valid concern. A closed source approach could also mean a lack of transparency and accountability.
Yeah.
If we don't know how these AI systems are being built or what biases they might have,
Right.
we're basically giving up control over a technology that could completely change our world.
It feels like we're at a crossroads.
I think we are.
We have to decide how we want AI to develop.
Yeah.
On one side, you've got open source with its focus on collaboration, transparency, and accessibility. On the other side, you've got closed source with its focus on control, secrecy, and maybe even profit.
It's a choice with huge consequences.
For sure.
And it's not one to be taken lightly. We need to have a serious conversation about the values we want in this technology.
I agree.
And the kind of future we want to create with it.
Okay, so we've got these two competing models for AI development, each with its own pros and cons. How do we navigate this and use AI for good while minimizing the risks?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it starts with building a culture of responsible innovation.
Okay.
Where we prioritize things like transparency, accountability, and ethical considerations.
Yeah.
Alongside the technological advances.
So it's not just about building smarter machines, it's about building a smarter approach to AI.
Exactly. We need to think about the long-term effects of the tech we're creating.
Right.
And make sure it aligns with our values and what we want for the future.
All right, so we've covered a lot today, from Deepseek's accomplishments to the ethical questions about open source AI. But before we wrap up, I want to go back to something you said earlier. Deepseek's mission to unravel the mystery of AGI.
Ah, yes. The search for artificial general intelligence. The holy grail of AI research.
It's a goal that's fascinated scientists and sci-fi writers forever. But now with companies like Deepseek moving so fast, it feels like AGI could actually happen.
It's definitely possible. And Deepseek's different way of doing things with their efficiency and open source collaboration, it could really speed things up.
But if they do manage to create AGI, what happens then? What does that mean for us?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's one we need to be asking ourselves now before it's too late.
Yeah.
Because if we're not ready for AGI, the consequences could be huge.
All right, I'm totally hooked. But we're going to have to save that discussion for another time. We've already kept you on the edge of your seat long enough. But that doesn't mean we can't leave our listeners with some food for thought. You know, we've been talking about Deepseek and their success with their unusual methods and their open source approach.
Right.
But let's think about this for a second. If Deepseek, with not a lot of resources, managed to do so much by using existing technologies and working openly with others, what could you accomplish if you tried that in your own field?
That's a great question. And it's something I think everyone should think about, no matter what you do or what you're good at. You know, what challenges are you facing that seem impossible? And could you maybe overcome them by taking a page from Deepseek's book?
It really shows you that innovation isn't always about tons of money or groundbreaking discoveries. Sometimes it's about being resourceful and adaptable and being willing to learn from other people.
Yeah.
It's about looking at what you've already got and finding clever ways to use it.
Deepseek didn't really invent anything totally new. They took what was already out there and built on it in a really efficient way.
Right.
They challenged how everyone thought about AI and proved that there's more than one way to succeed.
And they didn't do it alone. They embraced open source and brought in developers from all over the world to help out.
Yeah.
They understood that working together as a global community could be way more powerful than any one company.
It really shows you how technology can level the playing field. The tools and resources that used to be only for governments and big companies, they're now available to everyone. And that creates so many opportunities for innovation and solving problems.
So as you go about your day, think about this. What's your Deepseek moment? What challenge are you facing that seems impossible? What do you have that you haven't fully used yet? And who could you work with to do something amazing?
Deepseek's story shows us that we live in a time of incredible technological change, and the future belongs to those who are willing to try new things, challenge the way we think, and work together to create something truly extraordinary.
That's it for our deep dive into AI and the rise of Deepseek. We hope you enjoyed exploring the AI revolution with us.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep pushing the limits of what's possible.